You probably woke up this morning to the sound of an alarm. You reached over, turned it off, and stepped into a highly predictable routine, governed by exact hours and minutes. If you felt hungry, you took a few steps and opened a metal box packed with calories. You didn't have to earn that breakfast today. It was just waiting for you. Erase all of it. No electricity, no grocery stores, no walls. You are lying on cold dirt, with nothing but a shrinking ring of firelight separating you from absolute darkness. Before you even stand up, you stop and listen. A snapping twig could be the wind, or it could be a hunting predator. Your immediate priority is checking the embers in the center of camp. Keeping those hot coals alive requires much less energy than trying to spark a new flame from scratch. As the group slowly wakes, you run a silent inventory. You count the adults, and more importantly, you count the children. You need to be sure no one wandered past the safety of the fire while everyone else slept. For roughly 300,000 years of our history, morning did not mean the start of a schedule. It meant you had successfully survived another night. And now, the daily scramble to stay alive had to begin all over again. Every single meal required a physical cost. Half the group might spend the day scouring the dirt for edible roots and seasonal berries, while the others set out across miles of unforgiving terrain, trying to track animal prints through the dust. Tracking prey meant running and walking for hours under the sun. Despite all that intense physical labor, hunters routinely walked back into camp empty-handed. When a hunt was successful, the meat was entirely consumed, and the remains became raw materials. Tendons were twisted into heavy-duty rope, and bones were meticulously carved into needles and barbed harpoons. There was no guaranteed payoff for a hard day's work. You could easily burn thousands of calories hiking across the landscape, only to go to sleep that night completely starving. But securing calories was only half the job. Thick wood splintered, spears became blunt, and stone blades chipped and dulled. Midday always meant maintaining the group's technology. Crafting a new tool meant carefully striking rocks together to flake off stone, requiring exact angles and pressure. Strike just a fraction off center, and the stone fractures in the wrong direction. One mistake erased hours of work, ruining valuable flint. Humans were slower, weaker, and possessed softer skin than almost everything hunting them. Our only defense was the dense, problem-solving tissue sitting inside our skulls. These sharpened stones were the physical proof that our brains were our true apex weapons. Because there were no written manuals, children learned to survive by closely watching the adults. They practiced throwing small sticks, memorized which plants were toxic, and copied hand movements shaping stone. This stored, practical knowledge kept the community breathing. If an experienced elder died from an injury before passing down their specific techniques, decades of specialized engineering vanished overnight. As the sun dropped, the group filtered back into camp. Whatever food they managed to secure was distributed among everyone. Sharing was a mathematical necessity, because tomorrow, the best hunter in the group could be the one who returned with nothing. While people patched up minor injuries and repaired their gear, the fire served a dual purpose. It pushed back the freezing temperatures, but it also drew everyone into a tight, warm circle. Sitting shoulder to shoulder, they began to speak. They recounted movements of migrating herds, explained the behaviors of dangerous predators, and told stories about their ancestors, encoding vital survival data into memorable narratives for the children. This nightly ritual of transferring ideas across minds through spoken words was so essential that many researchers believe these moments around the flames were the exact environment where human language was forged. But outside that circle of light, the environment was completely out of their control. The landscape was pitch black, and the animals, equipped with superior night vision, were waking up to hunt. Someone always had to stay awake. They sat by the fire, feeding it dry branches, listening to the insects and distant howling under a massive canopy of stars, waiting for the sun to come up so they could do it all over again. It is a mistake to think these people lived simple, primitive lives. Every single day required intense physical stamina, tight social cooperation, and relentless, high-level problem-solving just to secure another 24 hours on Earth. Because they refused to give up, they survived ice ages, crossed continents on foot, and kept their children alive. That sheer, grinding endurance laid the biological and cultural groundwork for every city, every medical breakthrough, and every technology we have today. The next time you find yourself frustrated by a slow internet connection or a delayed delivery, think about the people who made your existence possible. Do you truly think you possess the sheer grit to survive just 1 week living exactly like them? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.